Investigation into the shooting in St. John Parish this morning that left 2 St. John Parish deputies dead and sent 2 other deputies to the hospital in for emergency surgery after they had been shot. The shooting took place in 2 different locations. 5 suspects are in custody. The first location was a remote parking lot of the Valero refinery, where the sheriff says 2 deputies were working a traffic detail when they came under fire, and he says it's not clear what motivated that shooting. The second shooting took place around 5 o'clock, just after 5 o'clock, when 2 other deputies were at a trailer park nearby, and they were investigating a car that matched the description of a car at the first shooting. They were interviewing 2 people when a third man came out of another door in the trailer where they were interviewing these 2 guys and opened fire on the 2 deputies, killing Jeremy Triche, 27-year-old, and Brandon Nielson, 34. Now, 2 other deputies, as I mentioned, Michael Scott Boyington, 33, and Jason Triche, not related to Jeremy Triche. Jason Triche, 30, is in the hospital. Those 2 men are in the hospital undergoing emergency treatment. And we're going now to the Percy Hebert Government Building in LaPlace. Here's Sheriff Triche.
But unfortunately, it's not. Even though it's raining outside, it feels like it's raining inside. I'm Sheriff Mike Tregre, St. John Parish Sheriff's Office. I've been here about 45 days as your Sheriff of St. John Parish. One of the hardest days of my life so far. I'm going to give you some basic ground rules and some information. My details will be very brief. The investigation has been turned over to the Louisiana State Police. My officers that were killed this morning in St. John Parish were simply doing their job, as other officers do every day across this country. As you can see, I'm surrounded by a number of sheriffs, police chiefs, and state police commanders. I want to say thank you to all of the elected officials who have called and offered their condolences. I want to say thank you to the law enforcement from around the country and other elected officials who have called to offer their condolences. I would like to say thank you to the community who have been calling and have set up funds and blood drives and candlelight vigils and who have sent food to the sheriff's office. I want to say thank you. This is not a good day, but we're going to get through this one way or another. As many officers go through their daily routine, we all hope and pray every night that we simply could go to work, take care of our families. Law enforcement is a profession where one day you may take a life, save a life, or give your own. And today was one of those days. I have 2 officers that were ambushed, or I even want to say assassinated, early this morning. Deputy Brandon Nielson. He's been with the St. John Sheriff's Office for the past 1.8 years. He's worked at a number of agencies in the metro area. He's survived by his wife and 5 children. Deputy Jeremy Triche. He's been with St. John Sheriff's Office for 4 years. He was currently assigned to the K-9 division. He is survived by his wife and his 2-year-old son. I have another officer who is currently at University Hospital. His condition is improving. Deputy Michael Boyington. He's been with St. John Sheriff's Office for the past 3 years and is currently assigned to the District Attorney's Office as an investigator. Also, Deputy Jason Triche, who is being taken care of at River Parish's Hospital. He's been with St. John Sheriff's Office for the past 10 years and is currently assigned to the Uniform Patrol Division. I've received a call from Governor Bobby Jindal. I'd like to thank him for his support and his condolences. I would also ask at this time that the citizens keep praying every day for my department, for my officers, that they may get through this mentally. I've met with all of them this morning.
Mike Tregre talking about the deputies who were killed and wounded in this morning's shooting. Once again, this shooting took place at 2 different locations. And in the first case, the 2 deputies, according to the sheriff, were working at traffic detail when they were shot unexpectedly.
They have been out here since we've called them, every step of the way. They're going through every bit of evidence, every bit of the crime scene. I want to thank personally a few other sheriffs that's here. The Louisiana Task Force, Sheriff's Office Task Force, they have offered their services to help fill in for my manpower for shortages, or if any of my officers are suffering from depression or need a break. St. Charles Parish Sheriff Greg Champagne has sent his dispatchers here to give my dispatchers a needed break, and we appreciate that very, very much. As sheriffs in other parishes, Sheriff Newell Norman came and met with me personally also. He offered his officers to stand guard over the arrested persons in different hospitals throughout the metro area. Public safety is my priority in St. John Parish. We have 5 people in custody, and my goal, my mission, I plan to work with the Louisiana State Police to make sure justice is served, period. Commander Mike Edmondson, Louisiana State Police. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. I certainly proudly stand with you this afternoon. This is a sad day for St. John Parish. Years in law enforcement, I wish I could give a rhyme or reason. I can't give one. We're seeing far too much of this across our nation. Small communities like this awaken early in the morning to multiple gunshots. But let me tell you what I can say. We've got a very large crime scene here. Multiple locations, multiple weapons, and multiple gunshots. I don't want to go into numbers. I don't want to go into types of weapons and stuff like that, or number of gun casings. We're trying to account for every single one of those gun casings. The sheriff told you we have suspects in custody at the hospital and ones that we are interviewing. Our goal here is not expediency and trying to rush to conclusions. We're looking for facts, and we're going to build on those facts. We're going to build a case because our goal is conviction. Our goal is to hand over to your fine district attorney a case that he can prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. That's our goal here today. We owe that to those 2 young deputies. We owe that to their families, that we find a reason and a cause for why a human life was taken. That's our goal here today, and that's what we're going to find out. Again, we're working towards that conclusion. We're going to be here till it's over. We're part of this community, and we're going to answer and talk to every single person that we can, pull all the information we can to come to that conclusion.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, we will try to answer any questions, but at this time we will be very limited on what we can release. We will take a few questions, however.
Sure. Any more information about what prompted the shooting at the parking lot this morning? Any more detail?
Still under investigation.
Are the 2 Triche's brothers?
They are related. I do not know the exact relation at this time of the 2 Triche's brothers.
Can you tell us more about the suspects who were injured?
I'm going to refer that to Louisiana State Police.
We've got to be really careful to talk about injuries, to talk about those types of things, but I think what's most important is that we have the people in custody that we're talking to right now, they're in the hospital, that we believe were responsible for this. That's our number one, and I think that's what you tell the citizens out there, that the people that were involved for this morning's occurrence is in custody right now or in the hospital.
Has anyone been charged?
There's been no charges this time, but we're certainly, when you're looking towards what we're working to, is a charge of murder.
There have been rumors in the community that some of your suspects may have links to white supremacy groups. Can you say if any of that's true or if that's part of your investigation?
Look, we've heard a lot of rumors. We've heard a lot of innuendos. I'm not going to speculate as to those types of things, but when we do get to a conclusion, we'll put all that information out.
You said multiple weapons. Can you talk more about what kind of weapons might have been used?
And what we have to be very careful here, because a crime scene has occurred, is atrocious as the one that did. Every single thing we say from this point forward is used in court, is used by attorneys. That's the way our system works. We appreciate that, and we have to work within that. So we've got to be very careful. I can tell you it was multiple weapons, and I can tell you it was multiple gunshots, in excess of 20 gunshots. We need to find those casings. Those casings will tell us exactly how many gunshots. You saw and heard the bullets in the car and those types of things. Those are all things that have to be backed up by evidence. We've got to find the reason why those things occurred and try to find out where they actually occurred. That's what's going to be important to us. That's what we're trying to work towards.
Two of the suspects women? Are two of the suspects women?
It's male and female.
We're also hearing that some of the suspects may have worked at that refinery and may have been disgruntled. What can you tell us, sir?
Again, allegations are out there. I think you could direct that question to the people at Valero, but we're not going to go into any speculation on things we don't know.
What's the protocol for the state police taking over investigations such as this one?
It's done throughout the state. I think when you take a situation like this, for a sheriff's office to actually take this over, a lot of emotions. These people, the other deputies are close to them. This gives an outside party to come in and actually work with them. We don't do this by ourselves. It takes the efforts of the sheriff's office. He has a detective division. He has an investigative division. He has very competent individuals that can assist us with that. That lets us come into it and work from a position from the outside coming into it to make sure we look at every single thing in there. They're involved with us every step of the way. Our federal partners were there this morning. Our sheriff's offices and local PDs from around the area, all of them will be involved. But as far as putting that together with one report and one agency, that'll be worked through state police.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, we appreciate your time, but as you all know, we have a lot of work that needs to be done. There will be no other press conferences today. We will notify you of another press conference at another time. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And so there you have it, Sheriff Mike Tregre and Commander Mike Edmondson of the Louisiana State Police holding a news conference to update us on the investigation into the shooting this morning that left 2 St. John Parish deputies dead and sent 2 other St. John Parish deputies to the hospital with gunshot injuries. 5 suspects in custody. Commander Mike Edmondson said, "We have the people in custody we believe are responsible. The suspects are male and female." He indicated some of the suspects may be injured in the hospital, but he would not go into detail about that. Now, there are blood drives for the sheriff's deputies underway this afternoon. Let me just say that one is at the River Parishes Hospital until 4 p.m. on 500 Rue de St in LaPlace. The LaPlace Blood Center is also hosting a blood drive until 8 p.m. They're located at 123 Belterre Boulevard. And the St. John Sheriff's Office will host a blood drive from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tomorrow. So those blood drives are underway. We'll, of course, have much more on the story at 5 and 6 o'clock and all of the time on WWLTV.com. Now, let's check in with Carl Arredondo. We've had a stormy afternoon, and let's get the latest on that. Carl?
Yeah, Dennis, we have an urban flood advisory in effect for Orleans and St. Bernard Parish until 4:30. Take a look at Pinpoint Doppler, and you can see there's not a lot out there again, but where it did come down, it came down hard and heavy. And you can see the heaviest of thunderstorms now diminishing around parts of Orleans and St. Bernard Parish. It was much heavier about an hour ago, but you can see there's not a lot there, but there's another batch of rain heading in to Jefferson Parish from St. Charles. It was also heavy in St. John Parish, unfortunately, for all the activity going on over there today. And you can see that the motion is going to take it generally towards the east, maybe east-northeast. So some of that rain will be affecting parts of the twin spans and also towards Highway 11. Now, as we take you a little bit closer, you can see that the rain is still out there around Jordan Road, Dyer, over towards Michoud and Morrison, a little heavier just east of Lakefront Airport, maybe heading towards the Little Woods. You're going to see a little bit in the way, some heavier rain there. And that is definitely a lot lighter than what it was earlier, and that will continue to push off towards the east. So again, that's one of the areas being watched now. We shift westward a little bit. You can see the rain coming on in now to Roosevelt Boulevard. It's heavier around Loyola and back towards St. Charles Parish around St. Rose and Amo. It's going to move towards the east a bit, and so we're going to continue to see rain advance on into parts of Jefferson Parish once again, but not nearly as heavy as what we saw in parts of Orleans and St. Bernard Parish a little earlier. But those heavy thunderstorms that went through St. John the Baptist Parish are now moving on into Livingston and southern Tangipahoa Parish. As you can see, this activity will continue to move on towards the northeast a little bit. And we have flash flood warning now for Orleans Parish until 6:15. So that is now a flash flood warning for Orleans Parish, as some of that rain has caused some flash flooding. But right now, right across the Orleans Parish area, it's not nearly as heavy, but that heavy rain that did fall. Take a look at WeatherLink 4. We'll show you the amounts of the rain that fell. Almost 2 inches in around the French Quarter, over an inch around Terrytown at our transmitter site, and Chalmette picking up 1/3 of an inch of rainfall. So right now we have a flash flood warning in effect for Orleans Parish until 6:15, and we have an urban flood advisory until 4:30 for St. Bernard and Orleans Parish, but at Orleans Parish is now shifted to a flash flood warning. So we do have still the threat of some flooding rains out there, but it's not as heavy as what it has been about an hour ago. Dennis will have more a little bit later.
All right, Carl, and once again on this investigation of the shooting of 4 deputies, 2 of them killed, 2 of them sent to the hospital with gunshot injuries. Sheriff Mike Tregre says the investigation is now in the hands of the Louisiana State Police. And Sheriff Tregre says, I have 2 officers who were ambushed, I want to say assassinated. He identifies them again, we have reported, as Brandon Nielson, 34 years old. The sheriff says Nielson leaves behind a wife and 5 children. And Jeremy Triche, 27, leaves behind a wife and a 2-year-old son. We'll have much more on this investigation coming up on Eyewitness News at 5 and 6 o'clock and on WWLTV.com. Now back to regular programming.
This has been breaking news from WWL-TV Channel 4. For continuing coverage of this story, log on to WWLTV.com.